Shocking Woman Problem. Thanks to Amanda Marcotte, there's a beautiful new article up on Salon.com. Atheism's Shocking Woman Problem. What's behind the misogyny of Richard Dawkins and Sam Harris? Let's explore their misogyny together, shall we? Spoiler alert. What appears to be misogyny can often simply be the conflict between critical thinking on one hand and a persecution complex on the other. Despite their supposed love of science and rationality, many of them are nearly as quick as their religious counterparts to abandon reason in order to justify regressive views about women. Let's keep that love of science and rationality in mind. Richard Dawkins has accumulated quite a bit of credibility over the decades. It's probably safer to assume he hasn't suddenly abandoned reason, but is instead rallying against a new religion. Harris is attacked first. I've never met the man. I can't speak for his character as I can for Dawkins. I can, however, make some observations. Harris is attacked for the following comment. There's something about that critical posture that is to some degree intrinsically male and more attractive to guys than to women. The atheist variable just has this. It doesn't obviously have this nurturing, coherence-building, extra estrogen vibe that you would want by default if you wanted to attract as many women as men. Harris's mistake is obvious. Did you spot it? I'm sure my fellow Steven Pinker readers saw it immediately. He rejected the still prevailing myth of the blank slate. Harris instead seems to think there's no reason to believe sexual dimorphism stops at the neck. Human nature does exist. Sexual dimorphism does exist in humans. Behavioral differences between the sexes are evident across all cultures. It is therefore more likely than not that such things as male nature and female nature do exist, and furthermore, that they are not the same. Natural selection has programmed humans to be more than predisposed to certain patterns of behavior. It would be an awfully big coincidence if the same patterns of behavior that are successful in one sex would be successful in the other. Think of the concept of the geneplex. A certain trait is not simply favorable or unfavorable. Sharp teeth and long canines would be a hindrance to herbivores. I find the following excerpt particularly revealing. Needless to say, for women who reject religion because it so frequently portrays women as mentally inferior helpmeets who exist to serve men's needs, Sam Harris is not offering any hope that atheism will give them a meaningful alternative. Feminists are generally atheists for the same reason Marxists are atheists. It isn't for their devotion to rational skepticism. It is for their allegiance to their core ideology of either patriarchy theory or dialectical materialism. I personally don't reject religion because of its human rights record or the offense I take therefrom. I reject it because I don't think it's true. Marcotte accuses both Harris and the late Christopher Hitchens of employing what she calls the women are humorless trope. I'll link Hitchens' thoughts on the subject below. I find no faults with his core reasoning. When a man can't make a woman laugh, he doesn't reproduce. When a woman can't make a man laugh, there are no consequences. Now we come to my dear Richard. Marcotte accuses him of blaming victims for their own rapes if they were drinking. The "you're blaming the victim" card is a favorite of feminists, is it not? Woe are we who would encourage safety, or worse, personal responsibility, for we are the defenders of rape. We're not alone, though. Those who would defend due process or the rights of the accused, they're also defenders of rape. Marcotte quotes Dawkins as saying, "If you want to be in a position to testify and jail a man, don't get drunk." To this I would add, if you want to jail a man, chances are you're a despicable person who has given in to hatred and revenge. Do you understand what jail is? you'd better be damn sure the man in question is a serious and persistent threat to society. Maybe the willingness to lock him up and throw away the key is an unforgiving trait within female nature, with which I therefore cannot fully empathize. In any case, it disgusts me. The article continues. Dawkins used to cling to the idea that he was an outspoken critic against the oppression of women, but lately he's more occupied with praising professional anti-feminist Christina Hoff Sommers. What's wrong with Christina Hoff Sommers? Why would anti-feminism and opposing the oppression of women be contrary to each other? Can we not oppose the oppression of women without demonizing men? Can we not oppose the oppression of women while simultaneously opposing the oppression of men? Sadly, this contempt for women, coming from the top, trickles into the ranks, allowing everyday misogynists who happen not to believe in God to feel justified in their hatred of women anyway. Subsequently, there's a thriving online community of people who live to harass not just women, but female atheists in particular, trying to drum any women out of the movement who want to be included as equals instead of as support staff for the male stars. Sigh. Or as the kids say these days, facepalm. Please just go watch the complete works of Thunderfoot. Watch them now. Contempt for women? How many of these victim cards are in their deck anyway? There's a 4-card limit. Their deck is just a few planes, an island, and all the rest victim cards. How can they be people who argue from a position of rationality when they cling to the ancient, irrational tradition of treating women like they aren't quite as human as men? You know what? If all you want to do is lock men in prisons, who wants to be treated human anyway?